You may have seen one of these before. This is a model 1895 Nagant revolver. This particular one was made in Russia in 1943. What's unusual about the Nagant revolver is that the cartridge has a projectile that's seated below the mouth of the casing. So when you put a cartridge into each chamber in the cylinder and you cock the gun, what happens is the cylinder itself is going to move forward and it's going to take up the barrel cylinder gap. With the mouth of the casing protruding through the cylinder face, the mouth of the casing is now actually inside the barrel, so there's no barrel cylinder gap. So all the gas is going out the barrel. Now it's got a horrifically heavy trigger pull to get that to move forward. But if you want to load for it, because ammunition can be very difficult to come by, and when you find it, boy, are you going to pay for that box of ammo. Lee does make a die set. Brass is out there, but if you want, you can also get yourself a conversion cylinder like this one that's chambered for 32 Smith & Wesson. 32 Smith & Wesson, if you're not familiar, is a pretty short casing. Typically it would shoot an 85 grain bullet. Now this thing was originally designed around a bullet that's closer to 100 grains in weight. So my thought is, with this 32 Smith & Wesson conversion cylinder, I'm going to load basically their 32-20 100 grain soft points. Now these are size 310, so they're going to work just fine in there. Data is easy to come by for 32 Smith & Wesson. In fact, the current Lyman book has it. This one, I pulled an old manual. This is the 42nd Lyman. Now this book was printed copyright 1960. So I was just going to compare data from 65 years ago to today. And pretty much across the board, things are basically the same thing. What I did notice though, as soon as I opened up this reloading manual, excuse me, what is not the same is this scene that you see right there inside the front cover of the 42nd Lyman, printed in 1960. This was typical in American living rooms across this country. You got a rack on the wall with a bunch of rifles, mom, dad, kids. Everybody's involved with shooting, loading. My, how things have changed. But I digress. Here, the data that's printed in this book for 32 Smith & Wesson. Again, I'm going to show you the 85 grain round nose because that's what it typically shoots. Is pretty much identical to what the current Lyman book has. You know, you're going to use 1.5, 1.8 grains of something fast like Bullseye. You could do Tight Grip, you could do 231. There's a number of others. But I've decided rather than do the 85 grain, because this gun was designed to shoot closer to a 100 grain bullet, I'm going to use a 32-20 100 grain soft point inside this casing, which as you can see is pretty doggone small. This is 32 Smith & Wesson, the same that a lot of people that are doing track meets out there, and they've got that blank revolver bang to start the track meet. There's a lot of them using 32 Smith & Wesson blanks. Drop right in. All you got to do, take out this cylinder, put in this one, and you can shoot 32s. So because I can and I've got this, I've never done the 32s for that. I've loaded up some 7.62 Nagant. It's a pretty anemic cartridge, by the way, and 32 Smith & Wesson's going to be even more anemic. But, you know, we'll put out a target at 25 feet, and we can get a bullet to go 25 feet, no problem. But stay tuned to this Bat channel. I'll work up some load here, and I'll let you know how it goes. Happy trails.